The player characters gradually awaken from unconsciousness. Pain racks their heads where they were cudgeled from behind. Their eyes slowly begin to adjust to the darkness that surrounds them. The first thing they discover is that they are surrounded by wrought iron bars. They are caged in this darkness. Flickering torchlight barely illuminates the area. Under them is wooden decking that is swaying back and forth, and they are able to deduce that they are upon a ship in a brig. As their eyes adjust further, they take note of a large, powerful and terrifying orc that is bearing down upon them. He has many scars across his body, and around his legs are iron leg supports, making him a foot taller than the average orc, and doubly terrifying. And he growls at them and he says,
You deem yourselves to be heroes of this society. Then you will pay for this society's crimes. I am Lashback. And while you have hunted me as I am Orc, you have failed to understand that it is you and your kind that are the killers, the captors, the slavers. I was a slave upon this very ship. And now, you will pay for the crimes that your people commit.
He nods to one of his orcish henchmen that flank his sides. This orc, smaller than Lashback, takes up a hatchet and moves into a different room. It is not long before the players can hear the splintering and thudding of this hatchet slamming into the deck of this galley, scuttling the ship. Lashback stares at them one last time and he says,
I leave you now to a watery grave, one that your kind deemed myself to deserve.
And he stalks from the room. Ka-tink, ka-tink, ka-tink. Those iron leg braces clanking as he goes. Hello and welcome to Performance Check. My name is Rob and today I'm going to be talking about reveals in your role-playing games. To be more specific, I like to call it the drip feed reveal. It is a really cool way of introducing your characters, your player characters, to a particular situation or problem that they must then overcome through play. So I find that reveals like this are basically a very cinematic and evocative way of giving your players all the information that they need. But how do I do it? How do I go about doing it? Well, it's really simple. Essentially, when I'm prepping my campaign or the session, I'm basically putting down into bullet points exactly what I need to tell my players. Now, it sounds very simple. It sounds very obvious, but it is surprisingly effective. And it will basically give the way that you're describing the situation control and clear direction. So I have my bullet points that I made for that little scene that I just described right here. Now, the first thing you need to think about is the introduction to this particular scene. So I decided to go for an easy one, to have the players actually wake up in this situation. It provides a really excellent introduction to the situation because they're right in there, they're right in the thick of it. I chose to have the players unconscious, so then the scene basically is painted around them as they awaken. The next bullet point I make is how the players feel. Well, they're in pain. They were struck across the back of the head. This lets the players know that they were attacked and they have subsequently been captured. Then I tell them what they see. And the first thing they see is important. The first thing that they see are bars surrounding them. This is now telling the players the situation that they're in, the predicament. They have been captured and they are imprisoned within these bars. Next, I speak about the lighting in the room. Now, this is give or take, really. You can use this if you like. I like to make an emphasis on the lighting of a particular scene because it is a really easy tool to use to portray the mood. If you're in a dark, intimidating kind of area, that is going to come across to the players. They're going to understand that they are in danger. I then mention their location itself. The location is key. They understand that they are on a ship because of the floor moving backwards and forwards beneath them, rocking. And then finally, I top this off with a threat. They are introduced to the orc character Lashback, who they would have come across previously in the game. And finally, he explains why they're in that situation. They are in that situation because he was once a slave, and as they are heroes who defend the society, who abdicate such actions, they deserve to suffer for those crimes. And they deserve to be encapsulated in this slaver's ship and sent down into a watery grave. And also, to top that threat off, Lashback then orders one of his henchmen to scuttle the ship. So the players now know that they're in this situation and they're going to have to solve that problem in a limited amount of time because the ship is going to sink beneath the inky waves of the sea, drowning them. It adds another very palpable layer of tension to the situation. So to simply recap on those, that is introduction, them awakening, the bars, their predicament, the lighting is the mood, the location, I went with the floor, moving back and forth, tells them they're on a ship, and finally the threat, the orc explaining why they're in that situation and what got them there. Using these bullet points, I can accentuate those different elements of information to make the players think about certain things, to make them feel certain things, and to make them realise the reality of what has befallen their characters. This is a method that a number of people have been using in the online community. I like to use it. Also, if you go and check out Tabletop Terrors, Tim is highly proficient in the drip feed method of the reveal, slowly giving more and more information in a detailed yet concise and theatrical manner that gives your players everything they need to establish themselves in this scene in a totally immersive manner. This method can lead to unforgettable role-playing experiences. And to let you know of my own experience, that took me 5 minutes. It took me 5 minutes to make those bullet points, and I'm ready to invite my player's imagination into that scene. Just some bullet points. So anyway, with that revelation, thank you ever so much for watching. I've been meaning to do more of these tip videos. Hopefully I'll be doing a few more in the future. If you like this video, then give it a like. If you would like to see more like it, then give me a subscribe. And I hope that all of your performances are up to standard.